In those distant days, when the land of Israel was still finding its way, there was a time known as the period of the Judges. It was a unique era, a season when the people lived in their own scattered communities, each valley and each hilltop holding its own quiet life. There was no single king to guide them all, no grand central voice to unite every decision. Instead, each person often followed the path that seemed right in their own eyes, a path that sometimes led to peace and sometimes to gentle confusion. The moral compass of the land was not always clear, and the threads of daily life were woven with both simple goodness and moments of quiet uncertainty. It was a time of learning, of growing, and of understanding the delicate balance of community and faith, all under the vast, silent canopy of the ancient sky. Imagine a land, vast and beautiful, filled with rolling hills, fertile valleys, and winding rivers, where communities were scattered like precious jewels across the landscape. Each town, each village, each family group held its own gentle rhythm, its own customs, and its own way of life. The people were guided by individuals known as judges, who arose in times of need to offer guidance and deliver their people. But for much of the time, in the quiet spaces between these moments of divine intervention, each person often found themselves navigating life by their own understanding. This meant that the moral landscape of the land was often a gentle mosaic, sometimes clear and bright with devotion, and at other times softly shadowed by confusion and uncertainty. It was a time of learning, of growing pains, a period when the young nation was still finding its true identity, still learning the delicate dance between individual freedom and communal responsibility. The very air seemed to hum with the quiet unfolding of these lessons, all under the vast, silent canopy of the ancient sky, where the stars bore witness to every gentle triumph and every quiet struggle. This was the world into which our story gently weaves itself, a world waiting for the lessons that only time and experience can teach. Into this quiet tapestry of life, a journey began, not with fanfare or urgency, but with the gentle purpose of travelers seeking their way. A Levite, a man whose life was dedicated to the sacred, to the quiet service of God, set out from his home. His dwelling was nestled peacefully in the hill country of Ephraim, a region known for its verdant slopes and tranquil vistas. With him he brought his concubine, a woman whose presence added a gentle warmth and companionship to his days. Their path led them not along bustling highways, but through the quieter byways of the land, across regions that were not their own, through landscapes both familiar in their ancient beauty and new in their specific contours. The sun, a benevolent presence in the sky, cast long, soft shadows before them as they walked, painting the earth with hues of gold and amber. The dust of the ancient roads, stirred by their gentle footsteps, rose in soft, almost imperceptible puffs, then settled back down as if in quiet reverence. The rhythm of their travel was slow and steady, a deliberate and unhurried progression through fields where grain swayed gently in the breeze, and past small, sleeping villages where life moved at a pace dictated by the sun and the seasons. The air around them was filled with the soft, comforting chirping of crickets, a natural symphony that deepened as evening approached, and the distant, haunting call of a night bird, sounds that spoke of the deep, abiding peace of the natural world. Each step they took was a quiet unfolding, a gentle progression deeper into the heart of the land, under the vast, silent gaze of the heavens, which seemed to hold all stories within their twinkling depths. They carried with them the simple hopes of all travellers, which included safe passage, a kind welcome, and a peaceful place to rest their weary bodies. Their hearts were open to the quiet beauty of the world around them, to the gentle unfolding of their journey, unaware of the shadows that would soon gather. The hills of Ephraim, where our story began, are a place of quiet beauty. The air there is fresh and clean, carrying the scent of cedar and wild herbs. The Levite often walked the paths of these hills, his mind filled with the sacred texts he studied. He found peace in the stillness of the landscape, in the way the light played upon the slopes at dawn and dusk. As the day began its slow, graceful descent, painting the western sky with a breathtaking palette of rose, lavender, and soft orange, the travellers approached a small, unassuming village. It was a place of quiet simplicity, nestled gently among the rolling hills, its homes built of the very earth and stone of the land, blending harmoniously with their surroundings. From a distance, they could see the first soft glows of evening fires flickering in the windows, casting a warm, inviting light into the gathering dusk. The air grew cooler with the fading light, carrying with it the comforting scent of wood smoke, mingled with the subtle aromas of evening meals being prepared. In those ancient times, the custom of hospitality was not merely a social grace, it was a sacred thread, deeply woven into the very fabric of life. It was a gentle law, understood by all, that offered warmth, sustenance, and safety to those who journeyed far from their own hearths. The Levite and his companion, weary from their travels, sought just such a place of rest, a quiet corner where they might find shelter from the approaching night. Their hope was for a kind welcome, a simple meal shared in fellowship, and a peaceful space to lay their heads, to find repose before the full embrace of night. As the first shy stars began to softly twinkle above the quiet rooftops of the village, the world seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the simple, profound act of human kindness to unfold, to see if the ancient custom of welcoming the stranger would be honored in this tranquil place. The quiet anticipation filled the air, a gentle hope for warmth and acceptance. The village of Gibeah was a quiet cluster of homes against the deepening indigo of the sky. The square in the village, where they waited for a welcome, was a place of deep shadows and hushed whispers. The air was cool, carrying the scent of wood smoke and the dampness of the evening. They sat on their mats, their animals resting quietly beside them, their hearts open to the possibility of a kind word. Yet, as they sought refuge within the village, a subtle and almost imperceptible tension began to weave itself into the gentle evening air. The open-hearted generosity that was often the cherished custom of the land, the immediate and warm welcome travellers hoped for, was not readily offered. Doors, though not explicitly barred, remained closed, and the faces of the villagers, though not unkind or hostile, held a certain hesitation, a quiet reserve that spoke volumes. It was a subtle strain, a gentle reminder that even in times of simple living, when the rhythms of life were slower and more connected to the earth, human hearts could sometimes be slow to open, guarded by unseen concerns. The travellers, sensitive to these unspoken cues, felt the quiet weight of this limited welcome, a gentle uncertainty about where they might truly find protection and peace as the darkness deepened around them. The atmosphere remained subdued, not charged with overt conflict, but rather imbued with a gentle human hesitation, a moment where the warmth of true hospitality seemed to linger just out of reach, like a distant, fading echo. The evening stillness, which should have been a source of comfort, was touched by this quiet longing for a safe haven, a peaceful space to rest before the full, enveloping embrace of night. The world watched in hushed anticipation, hoping for a turning of hearts, a softening of spirits, a moment of gentle compassion to break through the quiet apprehension. The air was thick with the unspoken, a silent plea for simple human kindness. They waited in the open square, their hearts open to the kindness of strangers. The village was quiet, the homes settled into the rhythm of the approaching night. They hoped for a warm welcome, a simple invitation to share a meal and a space to rest their weary bodies. The stars began to peek through the deepening indigo of the sky, their light a soft promise of the peace that night brings. As the last whispers of daylight finally surrendered to the encroaching night, painting the western horizon with the faintest blush of deep indigo, a profound and deeply uneasy stillness settled over the village. The familiar sounds of the day, the distant bleating of sheep, the gentle murmur of conversation, the soft clatter of evening chores, had completely vanished, replaced by a deep, almost palpable silence. It was a silence that pressed in from all sides, a quiet weight that seemed to absorb all other sounds. The doors of the homes, once symbols of warmth and welcome, remained resolutely closed, their sturdy wooden frames holding secrets and anxieties within. No friendly voices called out across the quiet lanes. No warm invitations were extended to the weary travellers. The air itself seemed to grow heavy, thick with an unspoken tension, a quiet apprehension that permeated every shadow and every corner of the village. The Levite and his companion, still seeking a place of true rest, felt this growing sense of unease deep within their hearts, a quiet disquiet that stirred like a restless spirit. The stars, which usually offered a comforting, twinkling presence in the vast expanse above, seemed to shine with a distant, cold light, reflecting the quiet apprehension that filled the night below. It was a night of waiting, of unspoken fears, where the gentle promise of sleep felt far away, replaced instead by a vigilant, watchful quietude. The village, which should have been a haven of peace, now felt like a place holding its breath, shrouded in a profound and unsettling peace, a quiet prelude to the sorrow that would soon unfold. In the quiet depth of that uneasy night, under the cold, distant gaze of the stars, a moment of profound tragedy unfolded, a sorrow that touched the very core of human kindness and shattered the delicate fabric of peace. It was a violation of the gentle trust that should exist between people, a brutal shattering of the peaceful safety that every soul deserves, especially when seeking refuge. The specific details of this event are not for us to linger upon, for our purpose here is to seek peace and understanding, to gently guide you towards rest, not to dwell in the harsh shadows of pain or violence. Instead, we focus on the immense sorrow that followed, the deep emotional weight of an injustice so profound that it seemed to ripple through the very air. The quiet night itself seemed to weep, carrying the silent cries of a broken peace, a harmony irrevocably lost. This was a moment that spoke with heartbreaking clarity of the fragility of goodness, of the preciousness of compassion, and of the profound impact when kindness is withheld, when the sacred duty of protection is abandoned, and when safety is cruelly taken away. It was a quiet tragedy, leaving behind it a heavy cloak of grief, a pervasive sense of loss, and a deep, aching question in the heart of the world. How could such darkness enter a place meant for light? It was a wound inflicted not just upon one soul, but upon the gentle spirit of the community, a silent testament to a harmony that had been brutally disrupted. With the first tender blush of dawn, a new day arrived, painting the eastern sky with soft, hopeful hues of gold, rose, and lavender. Yet, this morning brought with it no comfort, no gentle solace, only a stark and heartbreaking contrast between the vibrant beauty of the rising sun and the heavy, oppressive silence that lay over the village. The sun rose, a benevolent presence, its light beginning to warm the earth. yet its gentle warmth could not dispel the deep chill that lingered in the air, a chill born not of temperature but of sorrow. The village, which should have been awakening with the familiar, comforting sounds of morning life, the gentle lowing of cattle, the soft chatter of neighbors, the distant cries of children, remained eerily quiet. Its streets were empty, its homes still holding their breath, as if in collective mourning. This profound silence, in the face of such a radiant and promising morning, created a heavy emotional atmosphere, a palpable sense of grief and shock that hung like a thick mist over everything. The world seemed to mourn with a quiet dignity, the natural beauty of the new day overshadowed by the immense weight of what had transpired in the darkness of the night. It was a morning of deep reflection, where the heart struggled to comprehend the depth of the sorrow, and the soul sought a quiet space to hold its pain, to process the unbearable truth. The stillness was not peaceful, but rather a profound echo of a broken harmony, a silent testament to a wound that had been inflicted upon the gentle fabric of life, leaving an indelible mark upon the quiet heart of the land. The very air seemed to sigh with the weight of unspoken grief. With a heart heavy with an unbearable sorrow, the Levite began his return journey. Each step he took was slow and deliberate, a quiet movement burdened not only by the physical act of walking, but by the immense, crushing weight of what he carried within his soul. The path that had once held the gentle promise of companionship, of shared moments and quiet conversation, now stretched before him in solitary grief, an endless road marked by profound loss. The landscapes he passed, the familiar gentle hills and peaceful valleys, seemed to mirror his inner turmoil, now appearing sombre and muted, their vibrant colours dimmed by the shadow of his pain. His reflection was deep and sorrowful, a quiet turning over of the terrible events that had so cruelly unfolded, a desperate attempt to make sense of the senseless. The sun, though shining brightly in the sky, offered little warmth or comfort to his spirit, its rays feeling distant and cold. The sounds of nature, usually a source of solace and gentle distraction, now seemed far away and unheard, unable to penetrate the thick veil of his grief. He moved with a quiet dignity, a man transformed by an unimaginable loss, carrying not only his physical burden, but also the profound emotional weight of an unbearable tragedy that had forever altered his world. The journey home was a silent testament to his pain, a slow, deliberate passage through a world that now felt irrevocably changed, stripped of its former innocence and peace. His spirit yearned for understanding, for solace, for a way to comprehend the depth of the darkness he had witnessed, a darkness that now clung to his very being. The road stretched endlessly before him, each step a quiet prayer for peace in a world that had lost its gentle harmony, a silent plea for healing in a heart that felt utterly broken. As the news of this profound and shocking injustice began its quiet, insidious spread, it travelled like a gentle ripple across the scattered tribes of Israel, from the northern mountains, where the air was crisp and clear, to the southern plains, where the sun beat down with a steady warmth. Whispers turned into hushed conversations, and then into a collective gasp of disbelief and sorrow. The people, living in their separate communities, often isolated by distance and custom, were suddenly united by a shared sense of shock and profound mourning. It was a story that touched every heart, stirring a deep emotional disturbance that resonated across the distant lands, weaving a thread of shared grief through the entire nation. Families gathered in their homes, their faces etched with concern, their voices low with sorrow as they recounted the tale. The idea that such a brutal violation could occur within their midst, in a land meant to be guided by gentle laws and divine principles, was deeply unsettling, shaking the very foundations of their understanding of justice and community. It was a moment of collective awakening, a realization that the quiet peace they cherished was fragile, and that the bonds of community, of shared humanity, needed to be strengthened and protected with vigilance. The news did not incite immediate anger or a call for vengeance, but rather a profound sadness, a shared grief for the brokenness that had so cruelly entered their world. The tribes, though geographically separated and often focused on their own affairs, felt a deep, unifying ache, a quiet understanding that something sacred had been deeply wounded, a trust betrayed. The air was thick with unspoken questions, with a longing for justice, and with a quiet determination to understand how such a shadow could have fallen upon their peaceful land, disrupting the gentle rhythm of their lives. In the wake of this widespread shock and the pervasive sense of sorrow, a quiet but firm call for justice began to echo through the land. It was not a clamorous demand born of immediate rage, but a solemn summons, a gentle gathering of leaders and representatives from all the tribes of Israel. They came together, not in haste or impulsiveness, but with a deliberate and weighty purpose, their hearts heavy with the immense burden of the recent tragedy. The tone of their assembly was calm and procedural, imbued with a deep sense of gravity, focused on the sacred task of understanding precisely what had happened and how to respond with wisdom, righteousness, and a clear conscience. There was a profound desire to comprehend the full scope of the injustice, to seek clarity in the midst of the confusion and pain, and to ensure, with all their might, that such a sorrowful and abhorrent event would never again darken their peaceful land. Each leader carried within them the hopes, the fears, and the concerns of their own community, uniting their individual voices in a shared quest for truth and a just path forward for the entire nation. The air was filled with a quiet determination, a gentle resolve to uphold the sacred principles of their faith, to honor the divine laws, and to restore the delicate balance of peace and order within their troubled nation. It was a moment of profound unity, born not of celebration, but from shared sorrow, and guided by a quiet, unwavering commitment to justice for all, to ensure that the innocent would be avenged and the guilty held accountable. The collective spirit of Israel stirred, preparing for a difficult but necessary journey towards rectification. From every corner of the land, from the farthest reaches of Dan to the southern borders of Judah, a great and solemn assembly began to gather at Mizpah. This was a place known for its quiet significance, a traditional site for communal gatherings and spiritual reflection. It was a truly momentous occasion, drawing together people from all the tribes of Israel, their faces reflecting a shared concern, a deep sense of purpose, and a quiet determination. They arrived not with clamor or boisterous greetings, but with a quiet dignity, their footsteps soft upon the ancient earth, their hearts united in a common cause. The atmosphere was hushed, imbued with a profound reverence, filled with a collective attention that seemed to bind thousands of hearts and minds together. There was a palpable unity in their presence, a silent understanding that they were bound together not only by their shared heritage, but by a common sorrow and a shared responsibility to address the grievous wrong that had occurred. The air was still, holding the immense weight of their collective thoughts, their silent prayers, and their earnest desire for divine guidance. Under the vast, open sky, which seemed to stretch endlessly above them, the assembly at Mizpah became a powerful testament to the enduring spirit of a people seeking truth and justice. Their voices were hushed, their spirits solemn, as they prepared to listen, to deliberate, and to discern the righteous path forward. It was a moment of quiet introspection for an entire nation, a gentle pause before the difficult and weighty decisions that lay ahead, decisions that would shape their future and define their character. as the story of the tragedy was recounted once more. With quiet solemnity and profound grief, a deep and earnest debate began to unfold among the assembled tribes. It was not a debate of heated arguments or angry accusations, but a quiet discussion, filled with deep reflection, as they grappled with the complex questions of right and wrong, of responsibility and accountability. The air was thick with a pervasive moral uncertainty, as each leader, each elder, and each representative sought to understand the intricate layers of the terrible event. There was a gentle struggle to reconcile the high ideals of their faith, the divine laws given to them, with the harsh and painful realities of human actions and the depths of human depravity. The focus remained steadfastly on thoughtful consideration, on seeking wisdom and divine guidance rather than succumbing to immediate, impulsive judgment. They pondered the delicate balance between individual freedom and communal responsibility, between the desire for mercy and the unwavering demand for justice. It was a moment of collective introspection, where the very heart of the nation wrestled with its conscience, seeking a path that honored both truth and compassion, a way to restore balance without causing further harm. The quiet reflections at Mizpah spoke volumes about a people striving to understand, to learn, and to grow, even in the face of profound sorrow and moral ambiguity. The gentle murmur of their voices, as they discussed and deliberated, was a testament to their shared commitment to finding a righteous way forward, a path illuminated by divine wisdom, all under the silent, watchful gaze of the ancient hills that had witnessed so much of their history. After much quiet deliberation, many hours of thoughtful reflection, and earnest prayer, a solemn and weighty decision was finally reached. The tribes of Israel, united in their profound sorrow and their unwavering quest for justice, resolved to act as a collective nation. It was a choice made with immense seriousness, each heart bearing the emotional burden of the difficult path they were about to embark upon. There was a deep and palpable sense of unity in their resolve, a quiet understanding that they must stand together as one people in the face of such a grave and abhorrent injustice. The decision was not born of impulsive anger or a thirst for vengeance, but of a deep, abiding commitment to the sacred principles of their faith, to the divine laws that bound them, and to the well-being and moral integrity of their entire people. The air was filled with a gentle determination, a quiet strength that spoke of their shared purpose, a resolve to cleanse their land of such wickedness. They understood, with a profound sense of gravity, that their actions would carry significant weight, shaping the future of their nation, and they approached this moment with a solemn reverence, seeking to restore balance, harmony, and righteousness to their troubled land. It was a quiet turning point in their history, a moment when a scattered people, often prone to individual pursuits, chose to become one, guided by a shared sense of responsibility and a gentle hope for a more just and peaceful future. The collective will of Israel had been forged in the crucible of sorrow, emerging with a clear, if difficult, path forward. Yet, even with the purest intentions, and even when driven by a profound desire for justice, the path forward can sometimes lead to unforeseen sorrow and unexpected pain. A gentle description of internal conflict began to emerge, a quiet and heartbreaking division that saddened many hearts across the land. The tribe of Benjamin, in whose territory the terrible tragedy had occurred, found themselves in an incredibly difficult and isolated position. The other tribes, seeking to uphold justice and to purge the wickedness from their midst, made requests that were not met with the desired compliance from Benjamin. This led to a quiet misunderstanding, a subtle hardening of hearts, which slowly and tragically grew into a painful separation, a rift within the very family of Israel. It was not a clash of loud, boisterous battles at first, but a subtle fracturing of the sacred bonds that had once held them together as a unified people. The focus remained on the profound sadness of this division, the quiet ache of a people who were meant to be one, bound by covenant and kinship, now finding themselves tragically at odds, brother against brother. The air was heavy with unspoken regret, with a quiet longing for reconciliation that seemed just out of reach, obscured by pride and stubbornness. This internal conflict was a poignant and sorrowful reminder of the delicate fragility of human unity, and the profound cost when understanding and compassion give way to rigid adherence to one's own perspective. It was a sorrowful chapter in their history, where the pursuit of justice, though righteous in its intent, inadvertently led to a quiet, heartbreaking rift within the beloved family of Israel, leaving scars that would take generations to heal. In the quiet aftermath of this internal conflict, a profound and pervasive sense of loss and deep regret settled like a heavy shroud over the entire land of Israel. The immense cost of division, even when it was born from a fervent desire for justice and righteousness, was deeply felt by all. Hearts were heavy with the immense weight of what had transpired, and the very air was thick with unspoken sorrow, a collective sigh of grief that seemed to hang suspended. It was a time of quiet and somber reflection, as the people, both those who had fought and those who had merely witnessed, grappled with the profound consequences of their actions and their choices. The sacred bonds that had once held them together as a unified people, as the children of Abraham, now felt stretched, frayed, and incredibly fragile, perhaps irrevocably broken. There was a deep, aching understanding of the immense sacrifices made, of the lives lost, and of the profound emptiness left behind in countless homes. The quiet stillness that followed the conflict was not one of peace or contentment, but of a profound exhaustion, a collective weariness that spoke of a nation wounded by its own internal strife. Each community, each family, bore its own unique share of grief, and the land itself seemed to mourn the broken harmony, the shattered unity that had once been their strength. It was a poignant and heartbreaking reminder that even in the pursuit of what is right, the path can be fraught with unexpected pain, with unintended consequences, leaving behind a quiet legacy of sorrow and a deep, yearning longing for healing and restoration. The sun continued its gentle journey across the sky, a silent witness, but its light seemed to fall upon a land that was still coming to terms with its own profound losses, a land yearning for solace and a return to grace. After the storm of conflict had finally passed, leaving behind its indelible marks, a deep and profound silence descended upon the land. It was a quiet aftermath, a period of hushed introspection, a time when communities across Israel began to reflect, in soft, muted tones, on all that had transpired. The air was filled with an emptiness that spoke volumes, a quiet echo of the recent struggles, the painful divisions, and the heavy losses endured. The familiar, bustling sounds of daily life, which usually filled the valleys and hillsides, seemed muted, replaced by a slow, deliberate, and almost reverent return of stillness. Hearts were heavy with a collective grief, and minds were occupied with the quiet, arduous process of processing sorrow, regret, and the lingering questions that remained. It was a period of deep introspection, where the people, individually and collectively, sought to understand the deeper meanings of their experiences, to learn from their mistakes, and to find a path towards genuine healing and reconciliation. The silence that now enveloped the land was not one of forgetfulness or indifference, but of a profound remembrance, a gentle acknowledgment of the deep wounds that had been inflicted, both physically and spiritually. Each sunrise, though still beautiful, brought with it a quiet hope for renewal, a soft whisper of a future where harmony might once again flourish, where the bonds of kinship could be rewoven. The land, having witnessed so much human drama, so much sorrow and strife, now rested in a quiet contemplation, awaiting the gentle touch of restoration and the return of a lasting peace. In the quiet wake of the recent sorrows, as the echoes of conflict began to gently fade, a tender stirring began to emerge across the land. It was a collective effort, a quiet and determined movement to rebuild the delicate unity among the tribes of Israel. This was a time for earnest attempts at restoration, for careful decisions made with wisdom and foresight, and for thoughtful actions aimed at mending the deep wounds that had been inflicted. Leaders and elders, humbled by the recent events, gathered once more, their voices soft with newfound wisdom, and their hearts filled with a renewed commitment to peace and reconciliation. They sought diligently for ways to bridge the painful divides, to gently heal the emotional wounds, and to restore the sacred bonds of kinship that had been so severely strained. Each step taken in this process was approached with immense caution and profound reverence, for they understood the delicate fragility of their task, the immense importance of every word and every gesture. The air was filled with a quiet determination, a gentle resolve to weave the scattered threads of their nation back into a strong, beautiful, and unified tapestry. It was a period of patient negotiation, of heartfelt appeals for understanding, and of a shared, deep longing for true reconciliation. The focus was steadfastly on finding common ground, on extending grace and forgiveness, and on rebuilding trust, one gentle, deliberate act at a time. The sun shone with a soft, hopeful light upon a people striving to overcome their painful past, to embrace forgiveness, and to walk together once more in quiet harmony, guided by divine principles. The journey towards restoration was long and tender, a testament to their enduring faith and their gentle hope for a peaceful and unified future, where the lessons of sorrow would lead to lasting strength. Slowly, with immense care, with quiet perseverance, and with a deep, abiding determination, the nation began the tender and arduous process of trying to heal. It was a time of rebuilding relationships, not with grand pronouncements, but with small, cautious steps taken towards a renewed sense of peace and mutual respect. The wounds of the past, though no longer fresh, were still present, their scars a quiet reminder of the pain endured. Yet a gentle resolve to move forward, to find forgiveness in their hearts, and to embrace unity began to blossom, like delicate wildflowers pushing through cracked earth, in the hearts of the people. The tone of this period remained soft, imbued with introspection, deep reflection, and a profound desire for reconciliation. Communities, once estranged, cautiously reached out to one another, not with grand, sweeping gestures, but with small, meaningful acts of kindness, understanding, and shared humanity. The air was filled with a quiet hope, a gentle whisper of a future where the divisions could be overcome, where the misunderstandings could be clarified, and where the sacred bonds of kinship could be strengthened once more, made even more resilient by the trials they had faced. It was a testament to the enduring resilience of the human spirit, and the unwavering power of faith, that even after such profound sorrow and internal strife, the desire for harmony and collective well-being could prevail. The path to healing was not swift, nor was it without its challenges, but it was steady, guided by a quiet commitment to peace, a gentle belief in the possibility of a brighter tomorrow, and a deep trust in divine providence. Each passing day brought with it a renewed opportunity for reflection, for growth, and for the quiet, tender mending of a nation's heart, piece by gentle piece. As the dust settled, and the quiet reflections deepened into the very soul of the nation, The profound events of that difficult time became more than just memories. They transformed into lessons, deeply written into the collective memory of the people. They carried an immense moral weight, speaking volumes about the sacred importance of justice, the profound responsibility each individual and community bore, and the delicate, precious fragility of human unity. The stories of those days were passed down through generations, not as tales of anger or vengeance, but as gentle reminders of the paramount importance of kindness, the insidious dangers of division, and the sacred, unwavering call to live in harmony with one another, guided by divine principles. The people, having lived through such turmoil, understood with a newfound clarity that their choices, both individual and collective, had far-reaching consequences, and that the well-being of one was inextricably intertwined with the well-being of all. The air was filled with a quiet wisdom, a gentle understanding that true strength lay not in military might or political power, but in compassion, in forgiveness, and in unity of spirit. These lessons, etched deeply into the heart of Israel, served as a guiding light, a gentle beacon encouraging future generations to seek righteousness, to embrace forgiveness, and to always strive for a world where peace, understanding, and mutual respect would prevail. It was a quiet legacy, a gentle teaching that echoed through the ages, a timeless reminder to all who listened of the enduring power of love, the profound beauty of reconciliation, and the sacred responsibility to care for one another, to protect the innocent, and to walk humbly with their God. Now, as our journey through this ancient story gently draws to a close, we invite you to release any lingering thoughts or concerns. Let the echoes of the past fade softly into the quiet of your own peaceful night. Breathe gently, allowing each inhale to bring calm and each exhale to release all tension. Imagine yourself nestled in a soft, warm embrace, surrounded by the quiet beauty of the world. Let your mind drift like a feather on a gentle breeze, carried towards the deep, restorative peace of sleep. May your dreams be filled with tranquility, and may your rest be profound and undisturbed. As the stars twinkle softly above, know that you are safe, you are loved, and you are held in the gentle embrace of a peaceful night. Drift now into a very great sleep, knowing that all is well and all is calm. Good night. The stars above continue their silent watch, their light a constant presence in the ever-changing world. Know that you are safe and that the peace you seek is within your reach. Sleep now in the gentle embrace of the night, and awaken refreshed and renewed by the promise of a new day. Good night, and may your rest be truly blessed. Imagine the hills of Ephraim once more, as the morning sun begins to climb higher into the vast blue expanse of the sky. The light is soft and golden, filtering through the silver-green leaves of ancient olive trees that have stood for generations. These trees, with their gnarled trunks and deep roots, are silent witnesses to the passage of time, their presence a comforting constant in the ever-changing world. You can almost feel the texture of their bark, rough and weathered, and the coolness of the shade they offer. The air is filled with the gentle hum of bees as they move from flower to flower, a natural rhythm that is both soothing and peaceful. This is a land of quiet beauty, a place where the soul can truly find rest. The Levite, in his home among these hills, lived a life of simple devotion. His days were marked by the rising and setting of the sun, and by the quiet rituals of his faith. He would often spend hours in contemplation, his mind focused on the sacred words he had studied since his youth. He found a deep sense of purpose in his service, a realization that he was part of a long and holy tradition. His home was a sanctuary of peace, a place where the noise of the world was silenced and the voice of the Spirit could be heard. The walls of his house, built of sturdy stone, offered protection and warmth, and the air within was filled with the scent of cedar and dried herbs. The woman who shared his life brought a gentle light to his days. She had a way of tending to their home that made every corner feel warm and inviting. She would move gracefully through the rooms, her presence a calming influence. Together they would share simple meals of bread, honey, and fresh fruit, their conversation quiet and full of mutual respect. They would often walk together in the evenings, watching as the stars began to appear one by one, like tiny lanterns in the sky. These moments of shared stillness were the foundation of their relationship, a quiet understanding that the most precious things in life are often the simplest. Their journey to Bethlehem was a time of gentle reflection. As they walked along the ancient paths, they passed through fields of waving grain and groves of fruit trees. The air was filled with the sweet scent of blossoms and the earthy aroma of the soil. They would stop to rest by quiet wells, the water cool and refreshing. They met other travelers along the way, exchanging quiet greetings and sharing news of the land. Every step of their journey was a testament to the beauty of the world and the enduring strength of the human spirit. They felt a sense of connection to the people they met and to the land they traveled through, a realization that they were all part of a larger, interconnected story. In Bethlehem, the hospitality they received was a warm and comforting embrace. Her family welcomed them with open hearts, their home a place of laughter and joy. They spent their days in quiet conversation, sharing stories of their lives and their hopes for the future. The evenings were spent under the stars, the air filled with the soft music of a lyre and the gentle murmur of voices. It was a time of reconnection, a reminder of the importance of family and the sacred bonds that unite us. The hospitality they received was a reflection of the deep-seated values of their people, a gentle kindness that offered comfort and joy to all who entered their home. The return journey was a time of quiet anticipation. As they left Bethlehem behind, they looked forward to returning to their home in the hills of Ephraim. The path was familiar, and they moved with a steady, unhurried pace. They spoke of the things they had seen and the people they had met, their hearts full of the memories of their time in Bethlehem. The sun was a constant companion, its light a golden thread that wove through their days. They felt a sense of peace and contentment, a realization that they were moving towards the place where they truly belonged. As they approached Gibeah, the air began to grow cooler, and the shadows began to lengthen. The village was a quiet cluster of homes against the deepening indigo of the sky. They hoped for a warm welcome, a simple place to rest their weary bodies. The square in the village was a place of deep shadows and hushed whispers. They sat on their mats, their animals resting quietly beside them, their hearts open to the possibility of a kind word. The silence of the village was profound, a heavy weight that seemed to press down upon them. They watched as the lights in the windows were slowly extinguished, one by one, until only the soft glow of the stars remained. The night that followed was a time of deep reflection. The tragedy that occurred was a shattering of the gentle harmony of their lives, a moment of profound injustice that would echo through the ages. Yet, even in the midst of this sorrow, there was a quiet strength that sustained the Levite, a faith that whispered of a justice that transcends human understanding. The air itself seemed to hold its breath, the very stars mourning the loss of a gentle soul. It was a night of deep reflection, a time when the heart seeks to find meaning in the midst of the incomprehensible. The morning light, when it finally arrived, was a soft and tentative presence. The sun rose slowly, its rays gently touching the roofs of the village and the fields beyond. The silence that lay over Gibeah was heavy and profound, a silent testament to the grief that had entered the world. The Levite, his heart a vessel of sorrow, began his journey home, his steps slow and deliberate. The path he took was the same one he had travelled with his companion, but now it felt irrevocably changed. The beauty of the landscape, once a source of comfort, now seemed distant and muted, a reflection of his own inner turmoil. As the news of the tragedy spread, it was met with a collective gasp of disbelief. The tribes of Israel, usually focused on their own affairs, were suddenly united in a shared sense of shock and mourning. The injustice was so profound that it touched the very heart of the nation, stirring a deep emotional disturbance that could not be ignored. Families gathered in their homes, their voices low with sorrow as they discussed the news. The idea that such a violation could occur in their land was a shattering of the peace they cherished, a reminder of the fragility of the goodness they sought to uphold. The call for justice that followed was a solemn and weighty summons. The leaders of the tribes came together at Mizpah, their hearts heavy with the burden of the tragedy. The atmosphere of their assembly was one of quiet dignity and profound seriousness. They sought to understand the full scope of the injustice and to find a righteous path forward. The debate that unfolded was a testament to their commitment to truth and justice, a quiet struggle to reconcile the ideals of their faith with the harsh realities of human actions. They moved with a deliberate purpose, their voices hushed in reverence for the sacred task before them. The decision to act as a collective nation was a momentous one, a turning point in their history. They stood together, a unified people seeking to restore the balance of justice in their land. The internal conflict that followed was a sorrowful chapter, a reminder of the cost of division and the importance of compassion. Yet, even in the midst of this struggle, there was a quiet hope for reconciliation, a desire to mend the broken bonds of kinship. The healing that eventually came was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the power of forgiveness. The lessons of those difficult days were etched into the memory of the nation, a guiding light for future generations. They spoke of the importance of kindness, the dangers of division, and the sacred call to live in harmony. The stories were passed down with a gentle reverence, a reminder of the enduring power of love and the importance of caring for one another. As you drift into sleep, let these lessons be a source of peace and comfort, a reminder that even in the midst of sorrow, there is a path towards healing and restoration. The hills of Ephraim, where our story began and where it ultimately found its resolution, remain a place of quiet beauty. The air is still fresh and clean, the streams still babble over ancient stones, and the sun still rises and sets with a gentle, unchanging rhythm. The memory of the Levite and his companion lives on in the quiet whispers of the wind and the soft rustle of the leaves. Their story is a part of the land itself, a gentle reminder of the complexities of the human heart and the enduring strength of faith. Imagine yourself walking along a quiet path in the hills of Ephraim once more. The moon is a silver crescent in the sky, its light casting a soft, ethereal glow over the landscape. The air is cool and still, carrying the scent of wild lavender and the earthy aroma of the forest floor. You can hear the distant hoot of an owl and the soft rustle of small animals in the undergrowth. This is a place of profound peace, a sanctuary where the world's troubles cannot reach you. Every step you take is a movement towards a deeper tranquility, a surrender to the quiet beauty of the night. The stars above are like a vast and silent audience, their light a testament to the enduring presence of the divine. You feel a sense of connection to the ancient land and the stories it holds, a realization that you are a part of something much larger than yourself. The peace of the night is a gift, a moment of stillness in a world that is often hurried and loud. Allow yourself to fully embrace this peace, to let it fill your heart and mind with a sense of calm and well-being. As you continue your quiet walk, you come to a small clearing where the grass is soft and inviting. You sit down, looking up at the vast expanse of the sky, and feel a deep sense of gratitude for this moment of stillness. The world around you is a study in peace, a quiet tableau of shadow and light. You close your eyes, listening to the rhythm of your own breath, and feel a profound sense of relaxation spread through your body. This is the peace of the soul, a quiet sanctuary that is always within you, waiting to be discovered. The story of the Levite and his companion, with all its sorrow and its ultimate restoration, is a reminder of the resilience of the human spirit. It tells us that even in the darkest of times, there is a light that can guide us towards healing and peace. This light is the power of love, the strength of faith, and the enduring beauty of the human heart. Let this light be your companion as you drift into sleep, a gentle presence that brings comfort and rest. The dreams that await you are filled with the tranquility of the hills of Ephraim, with the soft light of the stars and the gentle murmur of the streams. May these dreams be a source of comfort for you, a gentle reminder of the beauty that is always within your reach. Awaken refreshed and renewed, with a heart full of peace and a spirit ready to embrace the beauty of a new day. The night is a time for healing, for restoration, and for the quiet mending of the soul. Surrender to its embrace, knowing that you are safe and that all is well. The ancient roads of Israel, where the travelers once walked, are now silent and still. The dust has settled, the footsteps have faded, but the stories remain. They are woven into the very fabric of the land, a gentle legacy of faith and perseverance. As you sleep, let these stories be a source of inspiration, a reminder of the enduring strength of the human spirit. The peace of the night is a reflection of the peace that is possible in the world, a quiet harmony that begins in the heart of every individual. Imagine the gentle rustle of the olive leaves as the night breeze moves through the groves. The trees, with their gnarled trunks and silver-green foliage, have stood for centuries, witnessing the passage of countless nights. They are a symbol of endurance and peace, their presence a comforting constant in a changing world. Feel the quiet strength of these ancient trees as you rest, their roots deep in the earth, their branches reaching towards the stars. The air around you is soft and cool, carrying the faint scent of jasmine and the earthy aroma of the damp soil. It is a fragrance that speaks of the deep peace of the natural world, a scent that calms the mind and soothes the spirit. Allow yourself to be fully present in this moment, to feel the gentle touch of the air on your skin and the rhythmic pulse of the earth beneath you. You are a part of this natural world, a part of its quiet beauty and its enduring peace. As the night progresses, the stars above seem to shine even more brightly, their light a steady and comforting presence. Each star is a distant sun, a source of light and warmth in the vast expanse of the universe. They are a reminder of the infinite possibilities that exist, and the profound beauty that can be found in the simplest of things. Let the light of the stars be a source of inspiration for you, a gentle reminder of the light that is always within you. The silence of the night is not an absence of sound, but a presence of peace. It is a quiet sanctuary where you can find rest and restoration, a place where the noise of the world is silenced and the voice of the soul can be heard. Listen to this voice, to its gentle whispers of peace and well-being. It is a voice that speaks of your own inner strength and your own capacity for love and compassion. The story of the Levite and his companion is a journey through the complexities of the human experience, a journey that ultimately leads to a place of healing and restoration. It is a story that reminds us of the importance of justice, the power of forgiveness, and the sacred call to live in harmony with one another. Let this story be a guiding light for you, a reminder of the path towards a more peaceful and just world. As you drift deeper into sleep, imagine yourself being carried on a gentle wave of peace. This wave is soft and warm, a comforting presence that wraps around you and carries you towards the shores of rest. Feel the rhythmic movement of the wave, its gentle ebb and flow, and allow yourself to fully surrender to its embrace. You are safe, you are loved, and you are held in the gentle arms of the night. In the quiet hours of the night, the world seems to hold its breath, waiting for the first light of dawn. This is a time of profound stillness, a moment when the heart can find its true center. Imagine yourself in this stillness, surrounded by the quiet beauty of the night. Feel the gentle weight of your body as it rests, supported and secure. Allow your breath to be slow and steady, a rhythmic pulse that connects you to the earth. The story of the Levite and his companion, with its themes of justice and restoration, is a reminder of the enduring power of the divine. It tells us that even in the midst of sorrow, there is a plan for healing and renewal. This plan is woven into the very fabric of the universe, a gentle guidance that leads us towards a more peaceful and just world. Trust in this guidance, and allow yourself to be carried by its gentle strength. As the night draws to a close, the first light of dawn begins to appear in the eastern sky. This light is soft and tentative, a gentle promise of a new day. It touches the roofs of the homes and the fields beyond, bringing with it a sense of hope and renewal. The world begins to awaken, the birds begin to sing, and the first sounds of morning life fill the air. But for now, you are still in the quiet embrace of the night, a place of profound peace and rest. May the peace you have found in this journey stay with you throughout the night and into the new day. Let it be a source of strength and comfort, a reminder of the beauty that is always within your reach. You are a part of the enduring story of the human spirit, a story that is filled with faith, love, and the power of restoration. Now, as our journey through this ancient story gently draws to a close, we invite you to release any lingering thoughts or concerns. Let the echoes of the past fade softly into the quiet of your own peaceful night. Breathe gently, allowing each inhale to bring calm and each exhale to release all tension. Imagine yourself nestled in a soft, warm embrace, surrounded by the quiet beauty of the world. Let your mind drift like a feather on a gentle breeze, carried towards the deep, restorative peace of sleep. May your dreams be filled with tranquility, and may your rest be profound and undisturbed. As the stars twinkle softly above, Know that you are safe, you are loved, and you are held in the gentle embrace of a peaceful night. Drift now into a very great sleep, knowing that all is well and all is calm. Good night. The stars above continue their silent watch, their light a constant presence in the ever-changing world. Know that you are safe and that the peace you seek is within your reach. Sleep now in the gentle embrace of the night, and awaken refreshed and renewed by the promise of a new day. Good night, and may your rest be truly blessed.